the events of 9/11 may be the most visible reminder of the danger that first responders face every day. And no one worries more about that risk than their kids. Here to explain, and there are other people who worry about that as well.
Yeah.
So here to explain is Dr. Erica Lee, a psychologist at Boston Children's Hospital. Good to see you, Doctor.
Hey, Dr. Lee. All right, question one. Let's start there. Firefighters, police officers, paramedics. These are, as you know, high-stress jobs. They can also be very unpredictable. They can be extremely dangerous. This may sound like a simple question and an obvious one, but kids pick up on that, right?
Yeah, it's a really important question. And generally, I would say yes, because just like you said, first responders put themselves in harm's way every day to help keep the rest of us safe and healthy. And because, just like as you mentioned, they work really long and unpredictable hours, they're often in dangerous situations. That work, of course, increases not only their individual stress level, but also, of course, their families. So, for example, kids may realize, that my first responder parent is not always able to come to my activity or another family event, or, kids who actually understand what it is that their parents do may worry about them getting hurt or killed.
So, doctor, a big part of their job is responding to traumatic events. So when you're a parent, do you advise against sharing certain details with your kids? And I know it depends on age as well.
Yeah.
Great question. Yeah. And generally, again, I would say yes, because just as you mentioned, a child or a teenager's age and developmental stage should always be part of the consideration if you're thinking about talking about some kind of adult topic. But here, especially just given what we're talking about, I'd want to be especially thoughtful. What can your child understand and what do they actually need to know? Because more details are not always better for kids. They can't always process graphic or scary information the same way adults can. Mm-hmm. And too much exposure to the details of these kinds of things can just increase their anxiety.
So Dr. Lee, let's move that ball forward. At what point, how does a parent recognize that, my child needs some extra support, some extra help? At what point does a parent recognize that?
Yeah, so I would say, if you're a first responder parent and you yourself are having difficulty managing this really tremendous stress, or it's having an impact on your own mental health, that's a really good time to keep an extra eye on your kids, because we know that experiencing trauma as an adult can impact your daily functioning, your outlook on life, your ability to be the kind of parent that you want to be to your kids. And when parents experience things like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, your kids definitely pick up on that. And so if your child starts showing signs of distress themselves, so, exhibiting bigger emotions than usual, being clingier, nightmares, worrying a lot, that's a good sign to check in with them about how they're doing and maybe also follow up with a pediatrician for more support.
Good checkpoints. Very good.
Dr. Lee, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Dr. Lee. Take care.